Hello, here's a question for you. Have you ever felt that you've just, I don't know, lost your mojo or you're just feeling a bit stuck? I think that quite often that happens at this time of year when Christmas is gone and you're not quite sure what the new year is going to bring. But sometimes it goes beyond that and we can feel completely and utterly overwhelmed. It can be lots of small things that pile up and it's the last straw that, there's the expression, breaks the camel's back. Or it can be, as happened to me recently, one really big thing that just completely turns your world upside down. I don't usually share a lot of personal details on this channel, but in August 2025, my husband of over 30 years was suddenly, shockingly, taken into hospital and has remained there ever since. And that, let me tell you, was completely overwhelming. It was like being, I can only really liken it to being knocked over by the most enormous wave and then being caught in that churning undertow and just literally not being able to get my feet on the ground. In this video, I want to share with you how I finally managed to get my head above water, to continue that metaphor, in the hope that it might help you or someone that you know who's going through a similar experience. To begin with, I could describe it as living on the edge of tears, where just the slightest thing could throw me off balance. As things stabilised a little bit though, I was able to look around the house and I noticed that I had literally trashed every room in the house. And initially I thought, oh, well, perhaps it's just that in our marriage I'm the person who's the slob, and while my husband's not here, I am just creating a mess of the entire house. And then on reflection, I thought, actually, no, this is nothing to do with being tidy or untidy. This detritus around the house is a reflection of the inner turmoil that I am experiencing right now. So I thought to myself, well, this channel, Handmade Originals, is about creativity, and at its heart, creativity is about finding solutions. So I thought, if the exterior clutter in the house was a reflection of the turmoil that was going on within, then maybe if I could clear all of the mess that I had made, that would give me some clarity mentally and emotionally as well. So the next thing I had to consider was, where on earth was I going to start? Because I had literally made a mess in every single room in the house. And I decided that the first thing I would do would be to try to sort out the wardrobe. However, I just simply didn't have the bandwidth or capacity to take everything out or try everything on or ask myself if it sparked joy. I had to find something simpler than that, and any neuroscientist will tell you that making decisions is the most draining thing your brain can do. And when you're running on empty, it's just impossible. So what I decided to do was to declutter, tidy my wardrobe without making any decisions at all. How did I do that? So I had a great big plastic box which I used, but you could use a bin bag or whatever, and I removed, first of all, any hangers, which were just surplus, sticking out and just being annoying. And then I took out everything that was out of season. So we're in December now in London and it's very cold. So anything lightweight, anything short-sleeved, anything made of cotton or linen, summer dresses, everything out. There was no will I wear this or won't I. And then I removed anything that just doesn't fit me because it's too big, too small, whatever, out. And then I removed anything that might need attention, sort of repairing or anything like that, because I simply didn't have the time or the energy to do anything like that. And so I removed those as well. And when I say remove and out, I don't mean throw away. There's no jeopardy here of making any bad decisions because you're not making decisions, you're just separating your clothes. So everything was going into the box. And the final thing, which actually were things I did throw out, were not things I decided to throw out. They were things which I would say were self-selecting because they were torn or had holes in or something like that, where I simply hadn't got round to throwing them out. So I would say they threw themselves out. So I'd made no decisions at all. I'd just reduced my wardrobe to things that I would just wear now, so either for going to the hospital or to the shops, and that was it. So since I've got two halves to the wardrobe, top and the bottom. On the top half I put tops, and on the bottom half I put trousers and skirts. So I could literally stand next to my wardrobe, take one thing from the top, one thing from the bottom without even looking at it, had an outfit, job done, and I was good to go. So no decision, no friction. And I have to tell you that the next day when I went to my wardrobe, it was such a relief, such a relief. I didn't have to go through anything. I could see everything because I'd reduced it so much. Everything that was hanging up was visible. I hadn't thrown anything out, so there was no worry about, should I have kept this, was that a mistake? It was all just out of sight and therefore crucially out of mind. So I was able to have just an extra little bit of bandwidth in my brain to focus on the rest of my day. So did this method work? Well, I think from what I've just said, you'll gather a resounding yes for me, but in unexpected ways. So not only did it make the next day and all the days thereafter really easy getting dressed, but it was also really easy then to put things away, because there was space in the wardrobe where I could just put a hanger in rather than having to push things out of the way first. Secondly, and I think for me slightly unexpectedly, it gave me momentum to carry on and try to smooth the path in other ways. So I then sorted out all my other drawers, and then bizarrely I sorted out the lids for all my saucepans, because it used to always annoy me that I had to kind of shuffle through them in the drawer to try and find the one that was the right size, and this was just a pleasure to look at. And I guess finally and demonstrably it gave me the energy and the capacity to make this video, which I truly hope is helpful. It's not a scientific analysis of why we get overwhelmed. There are plenty of other videos which will give you that. It's just what I hope is a practical first step that you can take to just try to breathe. So if you're going through a bit of a tough time at the moment, or you know someone who is, please share this video with them, and I hope that it gives you and them some ability to just breathe and take a moment, in the hope of getting on top of things a little bit more. I've lost count of the number of people who, since my husband has gone into hospital, have said to me, don't forget to look after yourself. And honestly, I haven't been entirely sure what they're suggesting, but I would suggest to you that this is something which is my version of self-care, because it's put me just a tiny bit back in control. I wish you all a very healthy and happy new year. I hope you subscribe, and I hope that this video has been useful.